Okay, so thank you everyone for listening to Károly's insights here on projects we do. And we will now follow up with an expert panel here. My name is Friedrich. I'm leading the marketing and communications team for Akkodis, and I have invited here for an expert panel to give you more ideas about our battery innovation system, what smart ecosystems mean for us, but also that urban lifestyle vehicle you have just seen and we built in our workshops. So I have all the engineering R&D teams with me here to discuss this in detail. So stay with us for this expert discussion. And I'm just quickly introducing, so you know Károly now, our Vice President for e-mobility and mobility. We can also go one slide further. Then it's my utmost pleasure to have Nils-Erik Meyer with me, who's our department director for e-mobility and energy. Welcome, Nils, and thank you for joining us on this panel. We have Tina Angerer with us, our head of battery, who has put a lot of effort in developing the smart battery system and the battery by itself. And it's my pleasure to have you with us, Felix. Felix Jakob is our director of Akkodis research. And hereby, I will like to kickstart the discussion with you. So it will be a bit more an interactive format right now. So we heard already about smarter, about more sustainable, but for starting the discussion, I would like to learn from you as an expert team. What's your vision of mobility, and especially of urban mobility, where this concept is made for? Károly, what's your ideas?
So I think in the future we will be used to the technologies where there is at the moment some reluctance. So we are now used to how we are refueling our cars, we are used to how we are using them, and there is a lot missing yet from these ecosystems. I think in the future we will be used to using these ecosystems, swapping, filling, just plugging in like our mobile phones. I think it has been 10 years ago with the Nokias. It has been a very different world. I don't know if anyone is remembering that anymore.
True, so change and transformation is moving faster and faster. And Nils, what's your ideas about future of mobility?
Yeah, I think we have to change the mindset. At the moment, everybody wants to drive a big car and a big SUV and drive with this in the city, and the urban mobility won't work with big SUVs. We have to think about smarter, and smarter means maybe smaller mobility and use more smaller devices like e-scooters, like city scooters, and smaller urban lifestyle vehicles. So that's why we think about the vehicles we see at our booth and the ecosystem.
An interesting point of view. And smarter is smaller. Does it also occur to batteries?
It's easier to drive a smaller car, a smaller mobility system with battery energy. Make everything easier. So and especially for urban mobility, could be a solution to reduce the traffic in the cities, to reduce the CO2 topics in the cities.
Yeah, thank you for your opinion here. Tina, I'd be curious to learn about your vision. What's your ideas?
Well, I think sustainability comes with standardization, so we'll have to have many players come together to really establish then a standardized system. Then also for the mobility sector and generally, it's considering different aspects of it. So that's what I think must be our goal. Realistically, what my vision for the future is more also is automotive parking and maneuvering. Mm-hmm. There may have been some accidents which may have been prevented if we would have something like that.
We can all relate to this, I guess. So easier parking and more sustainability. Yeah. And Felix, what's your vision for the future? As a research director, I think you are talking a lot about innovation. I'd be really curious to learn about what's your idea.
Yes. No, basically I agree to what has been said already. When I think about the future, I think we should have a more smarter mobility and on-demand mobility. I think autonomous driving will be one of the topics which will be something we are facing off. It will allow us a lot of more concepts, mobility concepts. I don't know if everyone will have their own car in the future, but it will have a mobility service. At least that's what I hope for the big cities. Yeah. And yeah, we have to be open for that and to shape the future together.
Thank you. And hereby we move to the next question. So we will tackle several topics in the next 20 minutes that we still have for this discussion. So in general, I'd be curious to learn more about the smart battery and the technical details behind. So why is this battery disruptive in general? Why is it an innovation? And what's new about it compared to other batteries? Maybe Tina, you can start explaining a bit about what the ideas and the concept behind were.
Yes, definitely. So what's new and innovative about this standardized battery module that we're proposing is that you can combine different cell chemistries as well as different cell types. So you can have in the standardized battery module accordingly various properties. You can change the properties of your smart battery depending on your needs in your applications. And then as we saw previously in the video as well, is you can have it in various applications. So for example, if you have an application then which needs more power, we can have a performance module, for example. And then when you have an application where you need like high cyclability, you can have a long life module. We also have a base variant, and we're also right now also conceptualizing an LTO module actually, which is then capable of fast charging. So you can have different cell chemistries. You can also have different cell types, cylindrical, prismatic, pouch. Everything can fit into the battery module. And then we have obviously we have an intelligent battery management system, BMS, in the battery module itself that can communicate to the various applications accordingly. And then that's what the most important aspect of the battery module itself is. Niels wanted to talk a bit more about the whole ecosystem then.
Yeah, so I think the chemistry is a different chemistry, different power types. That's a very important thing for the future because, as I mentioned before, if we use an e-scooter or a city scooter, we don't need a high power module which I can use for driving a car. So with this one line here, our basic module, I can drive an e-scooter 250 kilometers. Nobody is doing it. So we have to think about smarter ideas, how we can use the right battery system for the right vehicle, but we have to use the same standardized connectors and standardized sizes, and that's the main thing. Why we can use it for the whole ecosystem. And no matter if it's a vehicle, if it's a scooter or something like that, or I can use it in my home storage as well. And that's the interesting thing. So I can use it in home storage at home. Can charge it by my solar panels. So we're working together with partners for it to work on this concept to charge it, not just at home or in the cities with charging stations, and that's the idea. So we can swap it very fast. I can drive to a swapping station, change it, put the empty one in to charge it, and take in full battery system out of it, and that's the idea behind the whole ecosystem.
Sounds like an idea that makes our life easier in the future, also smart one. And when we have one of these batteries, they are also integrated in our urban lifestyle vehicle. How much range does it add?
So at the moment at our ULF, urban lifestyle vehicle, and at our booth we have an fixed integrated battery with 6 kilowatt hours, and we use 2 of our basic modules with each 3.5 kilowatt hours. So we can go into up to 13 kilowatt hours, and without our batteries, it drives about 60 to 70 kilometers. With our batteries, we came up to 150 kilometers. So it's a city vehicle, so drives up to 45 kilometers per hour, so you can drive it with 15 years. It's not just with a normal driver license, so it's for use as well. And yeah, that's another smart thing.
Okay, thank you for these data, also I think relevant for our audience. And now as we moved a bit more towards the ULF, as you called it, so our urban lifestyle vehicle, I'd be interested, maybe also from you, Károly, what role does design and concept play in engineering, but also for like fostering new mobility concepts?
Yeah, well, our design and concept is basically building futuristic vehicles, showing a first use case, a first idea of the things. It's basically applied art. It's an art which is meant for inspiring engineers in which direction the future could be developed, and that's, I think, the biggest advantage. If someone is trying to make this concept, we are inspiring with that and showing that we have an idea for the future.
Yeah, and can you tell us a bit more about the urban lifestyle vehicle? We heard already it's an urban vehicle, but yeah, how should I use it? Where do we see it?
So basically the idea is using in the cities, as Nils already said. The idea is that we have a higher user base than with a normal vehicle, so the limitations the vehicle have are at the same time a certain advantage, a huge advantage in the cities. You won't see it on the open roads outside too much, but in this case it's also an idea for the future to inspire the new generations of engineers also on our side, and also all over the world in what direction we are thinking, how do we wish to ensure a sustainable future.
So from inspiration, we move to innovation. And there, I would also like to raise the same question to you, Felix. Working on several projects related to AI, autonomous driving, but also maybe future traffic systems. I guess concept cars might also play a role in our research department, or what's your opinion on it?
No, exactly. I mean, concept vehicles are actually a proof of concept. It's innovation, and when I look at innovation is like development, is like the future application. The attention with a concept vehicle is not to create a new vehicle which we bring on the market and to influence it, but to, as Károly said, like to inspire not only the engineers but the whole industry to bring new ideas and to say like, hey, maybe we have to think out of the box and to try new things. The e-mobility is changing. If you go on this fair, everyone is talking about e-mobility, charging and all this kind of things. So it will change, and we have to come up with new solutions and to bring new things. So innovation is key. And there's a really favorite quote, and I mentioned it already somewhere, but Steve Jobs once said, innovation is the difference between follower and leader. You know, if you want to lead the industry, if you lead something, you need to do innovation. Otherwise, you're just following the others. So concept vehicles and concepts are key for the industry.
And for fostering imagination. So thank you
Yes.
very much for describing this from an innovative perspective. And then one topic also mentioned by several of you before, but it's the topic of sustainability. So of course, a lot of talks, a lot of technologies presented are tackling sustainability. But I would like to learn from you, like how are you considering the relevance of a sustainable transition of mobility, and how far are we also in proposing ahead of time solutions? So Nils, you mentioned before also like the smaller is smarter. Does it link to sustainability?
Yeah, of course, because as I mentioned before, we drive big SUVs and so on with a range of 800 kilometers or something like that. Who needs it? Károly mentioned it in his note. Your daily drive is up to 15 kilometers, maybe 100 kilometers, but not more. And but every day we use a battery with 800 kilometer range, but nobody need it, and I think that's the problem, because we need all the resources in the car, and why we build all the resources in the car if we don't need it? We can use smaller battery systems in this case, and maybe use something like our concept as range extender if I really need more range. And so if we go to smaller cars or even big cars with smaller battery systems for the daily use, we would save so many resources, and that is a very big point and very important point for the future.
And Károly, you also leading powertrain systems teams, so there has been a lot of change over the last years. How do you consider like sustainability, and what are your teams working on also in this direction?
Yeah, so not so long time ago, a lot of teams have been working on combustion engines in a company. That's also a change what we needed to cope with, and we actively retrained our people to be able to work on e-mobility topics, so that we can cope with the new challenges. And we are really willingly wanting to go in this direction to push really new innovation. And we have the challenges with developing new batteries, with integrating new and more efficient powertrain systems, which are sustainable, which are consuming less resources, and which are still having enough range what we need for the everyday use. Another very big topic, what I just said in the presentation, is we are developing a lot of solutions to make more reliable ecosystems, so that we don't have to think about how will I get to my next holiday, or how will I get to my customer who's living far away. But it's just a convenience that I drive away, I top up if I'm taking a coffee and drive further, and I don't need to think about it, and I don't need to bother on activating my charging solutions.
Okay, so making it easier, also more accessible to use sustainable solutions.
Exactly. Convenient and reliable. That's
okay. The 2 points to remember.
More important point.
And we also have one big topic about circular economy. Tina, you talked a bit already about like standardization.
Yes.
Does it link to circular economy as a topic? And you talked also about resources being used. How is this reflected in a battery concept?
Yeah, exactly. So right now, what's also important, or an important topic, we have various battery systems. We have a battery system in the car, then we have a energy storage at home, probably in your scooter, and also maybe a power pack for on the go. But we want to standardize it so that you can use it in these various use cases, so that you can also use your resources in a more sustainable way. And that's exactly where it comes back. This is the important aspect of the Akkodis Smart Battery, to really emphasize this application of it. Yes.
Thank you. And Felix, any examples of a research project where we're also tackling circular economy, resources, or overall sustainability?
I mean, there are a lot of topics, and we do have a lot of research topics challenging this question. In general, when I go back to your original question, where we are standing, we haven't solved it. There is a lot to do in the near future, and we have to ask ourselves, what can we do? Now we talk about e-mobility, electrifying everything, but it's not the answer. It's just one step to it. So we have to think about where do we get the energy from, and of course we do have a research project where we collect the wind energy and put it in H2 storage in order to use it in some other cases. We think about, we have another project where we try to win H2 in the waste burning process, which is not green energy, it's purple energy, but still it's something which is ongoing, and we have to look at this and see what's the potential in it. That's what the research called, so we have to look at it, we have to analyze it. There are a lot of things. We do a lot of AI topics. It's about optimizing. I mean, we do have the mobility as a concept in general, but maybe we can rethink it and to, I don't want to say shared, but on demand, to say like we're optimizing things when we're transporting cargoes. We have some project where we do autonomous driving and to optimize the cargo transport in a harbor environment. So there's a lot of things which we need to challenge. I think Akkodis, where we are an engineering provider, we are a partner for those kind of challenges. It's not solved yet, but we're on the journey to it.
That's also what we like, right? Like solving challenges.
We're all engineers, and we like challenges, right? I mean, if we talk about the standard work, yeah. But we like challenges. And yeah, there is one.
See heads nodding here, so I guess you agree. And as we are approaching the end of this keynote, I would like to raise one last question, maybe more as an outlook. So this IAA had lots of innovations. If you're coming back in 2 years, what's your wish that has changed in mobility and you'd like to see here? Starting with you, Károly.
So I would like to see a lot of customers of us in the future, and I would like to see how we're really brave to address the topics of the change and not always thinking if it should change.
Good answer. Nils, what would you like to see?
I would like to see more cars driven by our battery system.
I like that, yeah.
To add something, especially the U-shift as people mover on the IAA with our battery system would be great.
Let's discuss with DLR, but I think partners are here, so yeah, the battery is here too, so no obstacles. And Tina, what's your wish for the next years in mobility?
What Neil said, definitely, but I want to see, more standardization, going back to that, and companies, I think, will have to work together to realize that. So maybe we can see that at the next IAA, that something went towards that direction in an innovative way.
Even stronger collaboration. I like that too. And Felix, one wish for the next year.
I mean, I totally agree that we want to see more customer activities ongoing, and we're involved. But let's say in 2 years, I want to see things which we consider today as innovation. I want to see them as solutions in 2 years, and then challenging the next step. That would be really great.
I know some quantum computing projects working on right now. Is that something we can see in 2 years?
Well, we do have quantum computing activities, and we are already working on client application on this. The time of quantum computer will come. We are preparing for that. I don't think it will change mobility in the next 2 years, but it will be the innovation of the upcoming years. But let's say autonomous driving, I think on today's fair, you don't see too much of autonomous driving, but there's so much ongoing outside. It will have a huge impact on it, and it will change the way we travel. I think customer experience will be more of a topic because we will be less busy driving our car on the autonomous, on the autobahn or on the highway. There's a lot of things, but yeah, would be great to see more stuff like this in 2 years.
So thank you so much for sharing your ideas with us, and also from you, the audience. We would love to discuss your ideas about the future, how we can make them happen, how we can maybe help you with engineering solutions, or also just have a chat. So still tomorrow you can find us at the booth. But with this being said, I would really like to thank our experts and thank you for listening.